It started as a dare. 5 friends, Lena, Marcus, Tasha, Jordan, and Eric, stood outside. The rotting shell of a Victorian mansion at the edge of Greystone Woods. The locals called it the House of Horrors. Not because it was once a haunted house attraction, but because something had happened there. Something no one wanted to talk about. Just an old house, Eric scoffed, the bravado in his voice barely masking his unease. We go in, take a selfie in the basement, and we're out. Boom. Free drinks all weekend. The others reluctantly agreed. The door creaked open without resistance, as though it had been expecting them. Inside, the air was sour, heavy with mildew, rot, and something else like pennies and burnt hair. The wallpaper peeled in long, curling strips. The house groaned, every board underfoot sighing with age and disapproval. "This place smells like a corpse's armpit," Tasha muttered, pulling her hoodie tight around her. They passed through rooms frozen in time-dusty furniture draped in moth-eaten sheets. Broken picture frames, shattered glass underfoot. Faintly, as they moved, the floorboards echoed footsteps that didn't match theirs. "I heard something upstairs," Jordan whispered. "Nope," Marcus said, shaking his head. "Basement." That was the deal. They found the basement door behind the kitchen, its knob rusted, the wood around it stained dark as if it had bled. The steps downward were narrow, steep, and swallowed by darkness. Eric turned on his flashlight. The beam trembled. The basement was vast, too vast for the size of the house above. Concrete walls stretched into darkness, lined with rusting tools and manacles embedded in stone. Stains streaked the floor in long, chaotic lines. What the hell was this place? Lena whispered. Then came the laughter, soft, childlike, not happy mocking. It came from the far end of the basement, beyond the reach of Eric's flashlight. Marcus stepped back. "Nope, we're done." Too late. The door slammed shut above them. The bulb in Eric's flashlight flickered and died. Total blackness. Something moved, not footsteps, a scraping sound. Like fingernails on concrete. They heard it on the stairs, then behind them, then in front. Jordan screamed first. A long, high wail that choked off into silence. The flashlight flicked back on. Jordan was gone. No blood, no scream. Just gone. "Where is he?" Lena shrieked. A noise came from the far wall, a knocking. Slow, deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. Then the concrete wall started bleeding. Lines of red oozed from its cracks, tracing symbols, shapes none of them could name. Symbols that twitched when you stared too long. Tasha backed into a corner. "This isn't a haunting, it's a trap, a feeding ground." The laughter came again. Now closer, now behind her. She turned and screamed. The others saw her being lifted, her arms pinned to her sides by unseen hands, her body folded inward with a sickening crunch. She dropped to the ground in a puddle of herself. Lena vomited. Marcus grabbed Eric. "We have to get out." They ran for the stairs, but the steps crumbled into dust beneath their feet. Where the staircase had been, a gaping hole now yawned open, lined with writhing limbs, long, thin, spider-like arms that reached hungrily upward. Eric froze. "Don't move," he whispered. Too late. One of the limbs snapped around his leg and yanked him down. He didn't scream, just snapped like a twig and was gone. Lena and Marcus huddled together in the corner. "Why is it doing this?" she whispered, sobbing. "What does it want?" From the darkness came a voice. Not a whisper, not a scream, but something older, something hollow. "You came to see horror. Now you live in it." The walls began to shift. The concrete peeled like skin, revealing eyes, hundreds of eyes, all blinking independently, watching, waiting. The floor slithered. Marcus lost his mind first. He ran into the dark, screaming, laughing, tearing at his face until silence swallowed him whole. Lena remained. She crouched in the farthest corner, rocking, whispering prayers she hadn't said in years. Then she heard her name. Softly, Lena ... She turned. And standing there, no longer a girl, no longer alive, was Tasha. Her face was too long, her eyes entirely black. Her smile too wide. She held out her hand. "Stay," she whispered. The others were there, too: Jordan, Eric, Marcus, all of them smiling, hollow-eyed. Puppeted by whatever darkness ruled this place, Lena screamed. They never found the house again. Rescue teams combed Greystone Woods for days. But where the rotting mansion had stood was nothing but trees and a shallow crater filled with ash. The locals, when asked, simply said, "Some places aren't built. They're born, and they're always hungry." No one speaks of the House of Horrors anymore. But on quiet nights, deep in the woods, you might still hear faint childlike laughter. Waiting for someone else to dare. Waiting for you. The end.